Morning folks, a nice crisp winter's morning out here. We're rugged up for the start of the session. We've got an hour of run in, hour and a half of run in that we're going to fish, and today we're fishing the Micro Finesse plastics. So Dad was keen to fish the Micro Finesse. He's seen a bit of footage on those, so hopefully we can take those little tiny plastics and turn them into some reasonable fish for you guys here on the flats this morning. Only a quick session, so let's get straight into it. Fish on. Another beautiful morning, winter's morning on the water. We're going to kick things off with the little 1.75 inch Shad FryZ on a 1/8 ounce number 2 TT HeadlockZ Finesse UV Jighead. So we've mixed up the colours. We've got a couple of different colours on. Dad's got a darker colour in the Bumblebee, good dark silhouette colour. On a black head, I've got the motor oil head with a smelt colour. So we'll just see what the fish want today. Great thing with this is it's a little paddle tail, so there's lots of different ways you can fish it. You can fish it on a shaky retrieve, hopping retrieve, slow roll. That little tail works, whatever retrieve you use on it. So we'll mix it up a bit and we'll see what the fish want. Alright, we're fishing light gear to get a decent cast out of these light finesse plastics. So 1 to 3 kilo rods, 1000 size reels, 6 pound Platypus Pulse X8 braid, and we've still got a 10 pound leader on there, 10 pound fluoro. So theory there is that we're a fair chance of coming across a flatty or a tailer or something across this bank that could chew our leader, and with these tiny plastics they absolutely just inhale it. So we want to have a reasonable leader. That leader actually also adds a bit of weight to the cast as well. And we've got those 1/8 ounce heads, 1/8 in a number 2 painted UV head with that little placky on there. So we'll keep prospecting. We're starting to get up into a bit shallower stuff now that we like for these little plastics. Fish? Yeah. I just turned around and saw you come up tight on that one, eh?
I had just a touch.
That was gold. I just saw you load up on him, eh?
I just had a touch.
Oh, that's a good flatty, Dad. That is a nice flatty. That's why we got that 10 pound leader on, fingers crossed.
Far down, is it?
Yeah, it'd be down, I reckon. Oh no, hooked beautifully in the corner of the jaw. How's that, folks? We are in the shallows. You can probably see the bottom there. There's a bit of bottom stirred up there where that fish was playing. Micro Finesse. And that's a nice one, Dad. It's probably mid 40s, a bit higher, mid to high 40s. Let's put him on. Have a look. Yeah, nice little one on the front. So yeah, he's probably mid 40s. Good eating size fish on that Micro Finesse. You can see that Micro Finesse plastic pinned in the corner of the jaw there. So it pinned him beautifully, Dad. He's scoffed that and got pinned really nice right in the corner of the jaw. So that's that Bumblebee colour in the 1.75 inch Shad FryZ. Oh, that's a nice solid chunky mid 40s flathead, and look at that tiny little snack that he's eaten. But that's the sort of bait that gets up here on these flats, and those guys love eating them. So there you go, that's that Bumblebee colour on a 1/8 ounce number 2 Jighead. Sorry mate, I know you're itching to get back in there. We'll take that one home for Mum and then we'll let him go after that one if we do find another flatty. And see that guy, Dad, like oh yep, there we go. Yep. Oh, what are you? You're a flatfish as well. Yep. How's this? We're in half a metre of water, drifting this over this flat. Beautiful clarity in the water. There we go. Beautiful clarity. So these fish are picking up on this lure no problem. Half a metre of water, throwing out as long a cast as we can. to get away from the boat a bit. That's another nice flatty, another nice pan sized bloke. Unlike yours, Ronnie, this bloke has completely inhaled it. Look at that there, little micro finesse, right down the gob. So these guys, you know, they're up on the flats here, they're chasing these schools of little tiny bait fish, and these guys match the hatch very, very well. So that's another flatty. So good little start to the session. I'll get the pliers and get this guy out, and I'll probably have to do a bit of leader retying, I would say. Fish on. Alright, so there you go. That flatty had inhaled that little 1.75 inch Shad FryZ. Smelt colour on a motor oil head. So you can see there, that leader is all scuffed up because it was right down in his gob and he was shaking his head. So gently to get him into the net. So we just want to snip that bit off into the boat. We'll vacuum him out later. And we're going to retie this little guy here. So 1/8 in the number 2 on that 1.75 inch Shad FryZ in smelt. So just going to tie a locked blood knot, tie him back on again, get back out there again. Alright, we've only got a low high, so we don't want to get too extreme with our fishing here. We're into probably 1/2 metre of water max. There's not much water here, so we'll just keep drifting, see how we go. We might have to reposition ourselves onto the edge of the flat or something if there's not enough water here to hold fish. But that's, yeah, 2 flatties rolling and flicking these 1.75 inch Shad FryZ over the flats. They really are a brilliant little plastic. Every time I've fished the Shad FryZ, the fish have been all over them, and every time I think that thing is tiny, and every time decent fish eat it. So deadly little presentation, especially if the bite's tough. Oh yeah, oh, drilled. That one feels more silver. Oh, I love how they eat these little things, Dad. They just smash away. Like, that is crazy. He's just a brimbo, this fella, but that's, you know, great fun in no water. There is 0 water here. And have a look at him. He's a reasonable sized brim, Dad, for this such shallow water. What a great fish. And that little Gamakatsu hook, Japanese black nickel chemically sharpened gamma hook, has got him in the lip. He's come up and had a look at that, had a bite, and he's been pinned in the lip. So that is a cool fish. 1.75 inch Shad FryZ in smelt, throwing as long a cast as we can on the flats, just giving it a few shakes and a slow roll, and he's just drilled it. Righto, might take a photo of him, Dad. You on?
That's a part into his mouth.
I think the shallower it gets, the more fish eat it, mate. Beautiful. There you go. Pocket rocket. He's just lipped as well, Dad, on that.
Yeah.
Those little chemically sharpened hooks are brilliant. That's a little gamma pinning him in the lip, pinned right in the lip, hey. Righto, see you, buddy. Good work, mate. Nice job. So there you go, that's number 2 in that fine wire gamma hook, pinning him in the lip. Otherwise, if you want a heavy wire hook, grab that HeadlockZ HD in a number 4 if you want that brutal strength of that HeadlockZ HD hook. Fish on. So basically, I'm just throwing as long a cast as I can with this little plucky, and we're only in very shallow water. You can probably see the bottom there. So I'm just fishing it with a few shakes, and then I'm winding, just a bit of a slow roll, just keep it moving, give it a few shakes. I like to throw a few shakes in just to try and stir up whatever's out there and try and entice a bite. You predominantly fish a slow roll, Ronnie, hey?
Yeah.
You just get a slow swimming above, just above the weed?
Yeah.
Yep, so Dad's just keeping it in the strike zone, so he's just throwing a long cast as well, and basically just rolling it so that he's keeping it up above the weed and not fouling in the weed. And then you just lift or lower your rod tip, Dad? Yep, so he sometimes just lifts the lure up a bit off the bottom if he's hitting the weed and that sort of thing, gives it the odd lift, and just slow rolls it close to the bottom, and the fish just get on it. That little paddle tail, they love it. Yeah, definitely not real deep. Oh, was that weed? Weed. That wasn't weed. Nah, little brimbo, but he hit it once. Real sharp attack, eh? That's why we're lipping them. Probably they're hitting it and turning or whatever, but yeah, that was a real sharp attack. That first one, I slowed it down and he came back and drilled it, hooked right in the corner of the jaw. There we go. Another little brim, nailing that. 1.75 inch Shad FryZ. All right, where's your big brother? Little bit of bait flicking. Don't forget, always keep an eye out for the bait. There's a bit of bait flicking over this way, so we'll get over and amongst it. We definitely are matching the bait today with these little micro finesse plastics. It's tiny bait up on the flat here. So we're matching the hatch, matching what the fish are feeding on, just those tiny little bait fish. You often see schools of them on the flats, spraying a bit as fish attack them and hunt them down on the flats. So yeah, we're matching the hatch and we're getting a few bites, so that's pretty good. Beautiful winter's morning on the water. Yep, maybe I need to just take us over this way a little, Dad. Bit more activity out that way. He's only a little tacker, this one. Oh, but pretty cool that they're in such shallow water. Smacking these little plackies. Yeah, even those little blokes go good in this shallow stuff. Oh, that hook's got you solid. Little number 2 gamma hook, and that guy rock solid. It's great fun fishing this type of micro finesse plastics fishing. The fish belted hard, it's shallow water, so they run across the flats and fight hard no matter how big they are. But yeah, if you've got any good flats in your area, definitely worth a try. We just look for big weedy expanses that are out of the water at low tide, you know, sand, rubble, patchy weed, that are out of the water on the low, and we sneak up on top of them as the tide runs in. So good to have at least half a metre of water to get the fish up there. And then anywhere, I like up to about 1.5 metres of water. 1.5 metres water is good. After that, it kind of gets a bit too deep for what I like to do with this style of fishing. So you've got to fish it slower and take a bit more time as the water gets deeper, because you want that plastic down there over the top of the weed and where the fish are. So 1.5 metres I can still fish pretty quick and cover plenty of water, and yeah, find the patches where the fish are holding. But 0.5 metre to 1.5 metres, good broken weed, rubble, sand, mud, all sorts of mixed up bottom is good. Plenty of stuff in there for the fish to come up and feed on, as well as the tiny little bait fish that move up on here for try and escape the deep water and the big fish, and then the big fish get up here and eat them. So that's what we're representing with these little plastics. Oh, following it then. Yeah, he was right behind it. Just a little brimbo, but he was right, sitting right behind it. Yep. Yeah, You're welcome to jump up here, Dad, if you want. I'll move us out a bit otherwise. No size. Pocket rocket. I'm just getting a bit longer cast, I think, with that wind out to those guys. We've already drifted over that water though, so might not be productive. Alright, another little fella. Oh, he just hooked on me boat. Only a little guy, but shallow water fishing, good fun. On, mate. Buckle up. Mullet? I'll get the net. We found a school of mullet. There was nothing actually in the school. Nothing feeding in the school. You're joking, mate. What a cracker. I was going to net him for you. What a beast. Have a look at that, Micro Finesse whiting. That is brilliant, mate. If you can hold him, I'll get a photo. That's cool. Yeah. Alright, now let's get a dozen of those guys for dinner. Well, there you go, folks. Have a look at that thing. Nice work, Ronnie. That's a stocker. That's a nice whiting. Has eaten that Micro Finesse 1.75 inch shad fries. Beautiful fish. You're not going to let him go, Ronnie, are you? You're going to eat that bloke?
Probably.
Look at that. Ate that little 1.75 inch shad fries, Micro Finesse, 1/8 ounce head. That's a beautiful whiting. Nice fish. Oh, home for dinner, that one. Oh, yep. On the second bite. Oh, giant fish. What a beast. Oh, that's a good sign anyway. Might be getting back in around a few of those guys. See you, buddy. Yep. Oh, been a little bit quieter on that run out tide drifting back, but it's a flatty's picked it up off the bottom. Not a big fella, but another one on the Micro Finesse. You can see how clear that water is now as we drift back that way. You can see that little flatty there. Come on, buddy. Pocket rocket on the Micro Finesse Shad FryZ, 1.75 inch. Great fun just working these little plastics across the shallow water. And that guy's nailed it. Caught all sorts of size flatties on this plucky. He's only a little bloke, but big fellas will eat it as well, that's for sure. Oh, we've caught our tail. Great thing about this 10 times tougher Laztec material is you can make a plastic with a tail that fine but still nice and strong, so it doesn't get destroyed when you catch a bunch of fish on it. So little flatty. All right, folks, there we go. A fun little session on the flats, flicking around that little ZMan Micro Finesse Shad FryZ 1.75 inch, fishing with my dad. So we got a couple of legal flatties, a few smaller flatties, a handful of bream, and then Ronnie finished off with a nice whiting as well. That was a good fish, mate.
That was good.
Nice surprise, eh? So there you go. If you haven't had a try with that little Micro Finesse plastics, check them out at tackletactics.com.au. Get out on the flats, throw them around, and you just never know what's going to eat these little guys. All right, all the best. Fish on.